So, on the first trip to Australia, we met up with my buddy Latham, who's got this, like, bone disease where his bones break, and I gave him a tattoo. A lot of people said I did a bad job, but they were wrong. This time we met up with Latham to color in his tattoo. And he mentioned that the last time I saw him, we had thrown around the idea of maybe getting him some luck with the ladies.
His DS.
Yeah. And it just so happens that in Australia, prostitution is legal.
Well, we didn't know that at first.
I actually do. I had forgotten, but back when Jackass #2 came out, we were shooting these promos for it. We actually went to a brothel, like a whorehouse in Australia, and screened Jackass #2 for like all of the
That's
ladies
amazing.
working there.
Really?
That's so sick.
Yeah, so I actually knew prostitution was legal in Australia, but I had forgotten. So while I'm tattooing Latham, he says, "Oh, just so you know, like I still didn't, And I was like, "Oh, were we talking about that?" He says, "Yeah." And I'm like, "All right, well, let's make it happen." So I asked Vinny. I said, "Yo, Vinny,
do what you do best."
Yeah, let's find some. So, am I correct that you Googled the city we were in, which at the time was Gladstone?
Mm-hmm.
Gladstone.
I think I said escorts.
Escorts.
Yeah.
And it just showed up.
Yeah, and it gave me like a couple websites, and like a lot of them were sketchy looking, or all of them were sketchy looking. But I just started dialing and texting.
And like every time someone actually picked up the phone.
No, I didn't. Nobody answered, but I was getting replies via text, and it's more of like, "Yeah, I'm available. How long? Where are you?"
We happened to be in a hotel that was like next door to their like principal operating hotel.
Yeah, right next door.
Right. So I give, and this service was it was 100 Australian dollars per 15 minutes.
Yes.
Which is pretty epic.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I said, "Hey, Latham, here's $200 so you can have a half an hour. Plus, here's a tip, an extra $40.
Yeah.
So go enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
I'll have nothing to do with being there, but head. So Latham heads over next door.
Yeah.
Like as expected, the lady opens up the door, sees Latham in his wheelchair, and says, "Nope."
And shuts the door.
And shuts the door. She was rude about it too.
I don't know. I think. I mean, that is pretty rude. Just saying like no and shutting the door.
Right.
I mean, at least I think so. But but we didn't.
So he struck out.
We didn't specify what the situation was.
Right. So we struck out. We went and did the show that night, and during the show,
and Latham was pissed. He was just like, "Do you believe this shit? Do you believe that happened? Do you believe what she did?"
Yeah. Latham's the best.
Yeah, he's the best. And he was like trying to give me the money back to give to you, and I'm just like, "No, dude, you keep it." Like,
he just has a boner and he's punching holes through walls.
We had been planning on, I think, leaving like that night or early the next morning.
Yeah.
And
Gladstone the Maryborough to pop your.
Yeah. Well, we were gonna film so I during the show, during one of my videos, I'm backstage texting, "Hey, we're not leaving this city. We're gonna get the job done right.
Yeah.
Tell Latham, stick around, And so we stayed in Gladstone. And the next day, how many prostitutes did we communicate with?
There's so many.
Probably 10.
Yeah, there's maybe 10.
You're buying, what do you have to, some will only accept, gas station.
Excuse me? Yeah, one guy, it was probably some fucking dude scamming me. He was like, "Okay, cool, I don't take cash." Because I'm like, "Oh, we're at the theater, come through." And he's like, "Great." I'm like, "We got the cash." And he's like, "Oh, I don't take cash, I take a gift card." So I'm like, "All right." So I went to the gas station, I fucking went to the ATM, got cash, gave the lady the money, got the gift card, and then and on the way back, I'm like, "Yeah, I got the gift card." He's like, "Already?"
That dude must have been hot.
I mean, I thought it was a girl, and he's like, "Oh, why didn't you tell me you're going to get gift cards? I want an Apple gift card." I'm like, "Well, I have a United gift card." He's like, "Well, send me the."
Yeah.
So that was a bust.
So you knew you were talking to a dude?
I mean, I know, but like, I mean, I figured because it was like a scam. No, I always watch Scammer Paybacks, and they make you do things on. So I figured it was a dude.
Right. So then, when we finally found the actual lady for the job, it was the next day.
It was the next day,
Yeah.
and she was the only person that we were communicating with that said, "Call me."
And hopefully, fingers crossed, that all of this footage lives in the same video, the prison pocket video.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I don't see why it
it's
wouldn't.
probably going to be a little bit tricky. And hopefully this video doesn't just get buried for some of the stuff we've talked about. But, hey, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
So we called her, and I just said, I asked her, "Hey, we got a guy Latham. We want to take care of him. He's a virgin." She's like, "Yeah, no problem." And then I just said, "Hey, I'm not used to this kind of stuff." I was like, "Are you a cop? Do I have to ask you if you're a cop?" She's like, "No, but I dress up like one sometimes." Haha. And then she was explaining to us the laws.
Right. And we've stuck her behind like the not the curtain, but the
blind.
The blinds.
Yeah.
So you can see just a silhouette of her explaining the legality of prostitution in Australia.
And she said there's brothels and there's freelance, which are both legal, and she's the freelance version where she has all of her licenses. Or whatever.
So she's licensed. I mean, it's epic.
Yeah.
So she was super cool about explaining on camera without her identity being revealed. We told her we wanted to have Latham on camera when the deed was done to see his facial reaction.
Mm-hmm.
Turns out we had like 3 cameras. She was fine with it. Yeah. Totally cool with everything.
So was Latham.
Oh my God, so late. So I'm gone at this point. I went off to go get some food or something, and I'm getting reports back. Like, is the deed done? And Scott says he nutted twice.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wait, dude, this is the greatest thing in the world, because there was potential for this to be like something that was kind of uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Maybe like, oh, we think this is going to be a great video. Like, oh, dude, like as if we're like, there was a possibility that it would feel like we were kind of exploiting Latham for content, and that
like bullying him into getting a hooker.
But yeah, right. And not only was that not the case, but he loved it so much that he was finished with the whole operation within 20 seconds, he said. And he had a half an hour. So he said, "Hey, would you mind if we do that again?" And this lady was so cool.
She's so sick.
You bet.
Yeah.
So yeah, you paid for the half hour. Why not?
Yeah. So then, like, the whole thing, like, over. The fact that it happened twice is genuinely indicative that it was not in any way a bummer.
No, of course not.
And as soon, and he's on camera, like when she walks out, like the door closes and he zips in his little electric wheelchair straight over the camera, and he's like, "Fuck yeah, dude!"
Yeah. Wasn't he like sucking her titties and slapping her butt?
I don't
too?
know. I've not seen.
He's slapping her butt.
Is that true?
Yeah, for sure.
Wow, I know. I did.
Dude,
know.
he's such a legend, dude.
I saw his still shot on the camera, just a freeze frame where
He's holding her hair.
Yeah, you got a little into it.
Dude, bless his heart.
Yeah,
man.
dude.
Bless his heart. E-commerce is the way, and that way, ladies and gentlemen, is called ShipStation. Now, to enjoy a 60-day free trial, you go to ShipStation.com and use the promo code STEVO. Again, that is 60 days, 2 months of hassle-free, stress-free shipping with ShipStation.
Yeah, dude.